Welcome to ServiceNow Skills Cult. In this video, I would like to share my CTA journey with you friends. What I learned, what surprised me, the challenges along the way, and few insights that I hope will help everyone preparing for or considering the CTA journey. When I started the CTA journey, I thought it would be mostly advanced technical training, more architecture patterns, more platform depth, and clear path towards exam readiness. Nobody told me it would feel like this structured, intense, and deeply reflective. It pushes me to move from builder thinking to architect thinking. Over 12 weeks, the biggest shift was not just learning more service now, it was learning how to connect business outcomes, risk, governance, scalability, and technical decisions into one clear architecture story. Today, I am sharing the practical side of that journey, what surprised me, what helped, what challenged me, and what I wish I had known earlier. Here is the roadmap. I will start with eligibility because being ready on paper and being ready in practice are two very different things. Then I will walk you through the 12-week rhythm, how the program actually feels week to week, including the ArchX topics, assignments, group work, discussions, and presentations. I will also talk about recognition like Star of the Week and Super Contributor because those moments help maintain energy and accountability. Finally, I will close with the exam preparation, not just what to study, but how to practice thinking, presenting, and defining decisions like an architect. This is the field guide version, practical, honest, and hopefully useful for everyone considering CTA. This slide is important because eligibility is not the same as readiness. On paper, the CTA path requires strong ServiceNow experience, key certifications, and the eligibility to translate business needs into platform capabilities. But in practice, CTA asks a bigger question. Can you guide enterprise decisions when the problem is messy and the answer is not obvious? A developer may focus on how to build the feature. An architect must ask what outcome we are protecting, what risk we are reducing, what governance is needed, and whether the solution can scale. For me, this was one of the first mindset checks. CTA readiness is not, I know service now. It is, I can explain the right platform decisions under pressure to both technical and business audience. ArchX matters because it trains the jump from solutioning to architecture. In implementation mode, we often focus on requirements, configuration, delivery, and fixing the issue in front of us. Architecture thinking zooms out. It shows how the solution supports enterprise value, manageability, performance, security, upgradability, and user experience. The same technical answer can look very different when you evaluate it through those architecture principles. ArchX helped me ask better questions. What business outcome we are protecting, what risk we are reducing, what design choice will still make sense 2 years from now. That shift is real, CTA muscle, not just knowing what ServiceNow can do, but knowing what platform should enable. This slide gives a simple picture of how the 12-week CTA journey is structured. The first couple of weeks are really about building the foundation, understanding how architects communicate, how business outcomes connect to platform capabilities, and how to think about the current state versus the target state. Then we move into governance and strategy, where the focus shifts to decision rights, standards, risks, and architectural guardrails. This is where you can start realizing the architecture is not about designing a solution. It is about making sure that the solution can be governed and sustained. The next phase goes deeper into the core architecture domains. Things like CSDM, CMDB, security, integrations, performance, and platform health. This is where your technical knowledge gets tested, but always from an enterprise architecture perspective. And finally, the last few weeks are about delivery and exam readiness. Bringing everything together, presenting your decisions, defending your architecture, and getting comfortable working under pressure. For me, biggest takeaway was this: CTA is not a 12-week checklist. It is a repeated cycle of understanding, architecting, communicating, and defending your decisions. That cycle is really what transforms the way you start thinking as an architect. The weekly case studies where the learning becomes real. Each week, we had to read a scenario, identify actual business problem, not just the technical symptom. Then we mapped the needs to ServiceNow capabilities, products, integration patterns, data decisions, governance, and rollout consideration. The hard part was not only choosing the solution, the hard part was defending what that solution made sense and what trade-offs came with it. Group activity helped a lot because others should challenge assumptions. Sometimes the best improvement came from someone asking simple question that exposed a gap in the architecture story. That is exactly what architects need: the ability to make decisions visible, test the logic, and improve the design before it reaches the customer. CTA as an interactive learning loop discussion board was valuable because it made learning social and practical. Breakouts and presentations forced clarity, feedback turned weak explanation into stronger architecture stories. The leaderboard. The leaderboard added friendly pressure, not Hunger Game pressure. More like, okay, I should probably not disappear this week's pressure. That accountability helped because CTA is demanding. There are readings, assignments, discussions, presentations, and regular deadlines. The cohort become a sounding board, and that community made the journey more manageable, more engaging, and honestly, recognition may look like a small part of the program, but it matters. Star of the Week and Super Contributor were not just badges for the profile. They created momentum and reminded us that contribution is part of the architect role. CTA is not solo sport. You can learn by showing up, sharing your perspective, supporting others, and helping the cohort think better. For me, recognition was encouraging, but the real win was consistency. Week after week, you build the habit of participating, explaining, challenging, and improving. This is very close to real architect behavior. Architects do not design in isolation, they bring clarity into the room. Exam preparation is not only about memorizing definitions. The CTA exam mindset is architecture under constraint. You need to understand principles, but more importantly, you need to apply them to messy customer scenarios. Start with the blueprint and use it as your coverage map. Identify weak areas early instead of waiting until the final stretch. The practice, recall, and judgment together. Review the concept but immediately ask how they would apply in the real implementation situation. Practice presenting your decision in plain language, the architecture trade-off, risk, governance, and business value. My preparation formula was simple. Review, apply, present, get feedback, refine, and repeat until the story becomes clear. I will close with this thought. CTA is challenging, but it changes how you think, communicate, and lead. Thank you for listening. I'm happy to take questions, share insights, and connect with anyone preparing for CTA journey. Thanks so much for watching my video. I hope my CTA journey gave you few useful insights. Please stay connected with ServiceNow Skills Sculpt channel for more videos on ServiceNow architecture, CTA, AI, and real-world learning experience. See you in the next video. Thank you.